But Kelly?
All right, Adam, thank you so much. New at noon, cleaning up shattered glass is on the to-do list for several car owners over in Westwood.
At least one person spent this morning breaking into cars on a normally quiet residential street. WLWT News Todd Dykes is live on McKinley Avenue with more. Todd, we're probably talking, dozens of cars here?
It seems that way, Stephen. Unclear the exact number, but let me show you. The open driver's side window on this SUV crossover as I step out of the way is just one example of the damage done
Honda SUV
here along McKinley Avenue this morning. Broken glass on driver's side door is what's left of a break-in. Neighbors aren't sure exactly how many cars were targeted during the early morning hours, but it seems safe to say at least a dozen, could be dozens in total, possibly.
That doesn't look like a very good neighborhood to break into cars at.
Even more than that, we've seen other broken car windows on streets close to McKinley Avenue as well. Whoever is to blame committed the criminal acts in a 4 a.m. time frame, while homeowners were most likely sound asleep.
Yeah, that area looks kind of raggedy. Anybody know about the McKinley area over there in Westwood? The area where McKinley runs through? Yo, undirected team. I am DotSale, the undirected guy. And I cut the hair off. I cut it off. Team, we got to talk about this one. This is right up our alley. Up the alley, breaking into cars parked in alleys and garages. You get it. These are opportunities. These are opportunity crimes. These crimes where people break into vehicles, most of the time when they do, is because they see something visible within the vehicle that makes sense for them to break the window to go into. They usually are going to have at least some type of prospect before they go through the trouble of breaking a window, because it's loud and it causes attention. It was the last thing that they want. Excuse me, team. They want to be as stealth as possible when they do these break-ins so they can hit a collective of cars in a small area as quick as possible. If they break a window and it's loud and one neighbor notices them, or they get noticed by one person, the whole area is corrupted. The whole area is basically compromised, and police will be on scene soon because somebody will call the cops immediately afterwards. So you'll probably have about 5 minutes, give or take, to get out of there. Maybe less, maybe more. It depends on where the patrols are at the time they receive the call. So I'll just say this before I get into undirected perspective, where usually at that point I offer some type of solution, or I try to really wrap things up in a way where it's helpful to all of us moving forward after we look at the problem, is that you always want to keep things in your car minimal. A lot of times that means just keeping your car clean, but trust me, if you want to leave your Gucci messenger bag on the passenger seat, or what looks like a laptop bag sitting in your back seat, or you got, your cologne just sitting right there in the center console and it looks very expensive, or you got some really nice glasses sitting there, or you got they still use GPSs in cars, like the Garmin ones. They be sitting in the windshield. I don't know if people even steal that. They might just flatten your tire for using it. But yeah, that's going to be one of the things that helps you. But let's look at this story, and then what you've seen on the actual thumbnail and the title, we want to look at this teenager that broke into 100 cars overnight. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Just on my block alone, it's been 8 to 10 cars overnight. And I know people.
Yeah, that looks like about what the neighborhood. If I didn't even watch this one before, I'm just like this one. I watched the other one. I didn't watch this one. I just threw this one in just to kind of add a little bit more. But yeah, it looks like about what I would expect from that neighborhood. Not to talk bad about anybody or anything like that, but Seems about right. Is Westwood in Chicago? He got on a Sox hat.
From both ends of my street. So here it is, 5:36 a.m. and we're all outside. Like, who else?
Where's Westwood at?
You know.
Very frustrated neighbors here.
I'm gonna find out.
And I just got an update from the Cincinnati Police Department.
Cincinnati.
To say that what among the items taken: cash, a few bank cards, a set of someone's work keys. Almost certain searching for guns as well. That, of course, has become a real troubling trend here in the city of Cincinnati over the last handful of years. No suspect identified at this point. The police obviously trying to figure out who is to blame for all of this property damage and the headaches that a lot of car owners are dealing with at this noon hour here in this part of Westwood. For now, reporting live, Todd Dykes, WWT News 5.
It's hard to catch criminals like that because these are all like side streets. They're not like doing it on busy streets where there's a lot of cameras, you know, on like the main streets and stuff like that. So it's a lot more difficult unless you can kind of string together like Ring doorbell cameras and surveillance cameras that are on the house to kind of piece together images or videos of the perp. And then maybe at that point you can get some more intel on them and then try to track them down. But, you know, it's a little bit more difficult with these crimes, and they're usually going to wear gloves and they're going to move pretty efficiently as far as like using stolen cars and stuff like that. So it's a little more tough. But this is something that, you know, is never going to stop. As we get more cars on the road, people will make more mistakes and leaving valuables in their vehicles. I would just say this. Anything that you're going to leave in your car, expect that it can be stolen, because there's really not much more than a sheet of glass protecting your items. But this is the main story, and we're going to get to this one now. And this teenager, he was captured, but he was linked to over 120 car thefts. We'll watch this one in its entirety, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Weekends, about 50 of those happening in Laurel neighborhoods, including here, the Villages at Wellington. We're hearing from the Laurel police chief tonight after they announced today the arrest of a teenager a few weeks later. A car break-in outside of Robert Major's Laurel home, where his daughter's car was one of dozens targeted. Tonight, Laurel police say a 16-year-old is one of the suspects responsible for over 100 break-ins.
I hope some consequences happen. It needs to stop because it's becoming ridiculous.
Today, Laurel Police Chief Russ Hamill held a press conference announcing the arrest of the teenager, who they say is linked to all 120 car break-ins and auto theft.
Here in Laurel, we had 54 cases alone in one night. And in Prince George's, Anne Arundel, and Howard counties, there were another 67 vehicles broken into during the same time frame.
The chief says detectives found numerous credit cards and sets of car keys inside the teen's home. Officers arrested that teen, but the chief says the Department of Juvenile Services decided to release him until his court date due to no prior record, and DJS ruling the teen is not a flight risk.
So yes, 5 hours after we were at his house, he was released back into the community, back into the environment that allowed him to be out roaming the streets in all of these counties late at night and in the early morning, doing these crimes to begin with.
The chief is pissed. The chief is hot, bruh. He damn near don't even want to go after criminals no more. They keep letting him out of prison.
Halima Kaikai is one of 121 victims and one of several who had to pay for the damage himself.
Insurance didn't cover it. They said I didn't have full coverage, well, comprehensive coverage rather. So I had to pay out of pocket. So yeah, $750.
If you put a fine on the parents or you hold the parents accountable, because they should know where their kids are. They all need to be accountable because it's incredible.
DJS telling us tonight they cannot comment on individual cases. We do know, though, that they follow a specific assessment when it comes to deciding on whether or not a teenager should be released before their court date. We also know from police that they were set to take two more accomplices into custody today as a result of these car breaks.
Yeah, he didn't act alone. Those aren't the type of crimes that you do by yourself. Those are mob mentality crimes where each person hypes up the other and then they end up doing a job. you're not usually going to be by yourself and want to go out into the cold streets all alone and break into cars. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's scary, but it's just not a crime that you're usually going to do by yourself. You're usually going to go out with a couple of your buddies and then, you'll do it. It's a low-level crime. Crimes like this, you're only really going to be able to get what people leave out as an opportunity. And most of the time, the stuff you leave in your car, although it could be important, most of the time it's stuff that is not that important. You're usually going to take it in with you. People leave a lot of firearms in their cars. You'll see that a lot. It just gets annoying to have to take it in and out of the vehicle. And if you're a conceal and carry holder, then you're just going to keep it in the vehicle because it makes the most sense. You don't want to keep putting it on your person every time you get in and out of the vehicle. And you don't want to sit with it in your waistband while you're driving for long periods of time. So you end up just getting lazy and leave it in your car. And then a thief like this breaks into it. And now he's got a hold of your firearm. The guy said that the parents should be responsible for their kids. I'm actually in agreement with that. I do think that kids really only go as far as the parents allow them to. After some point, though, if you don't get a hold of your kid, as a parent, you have to get a hold of your kid by, I would say, 10 years old. If you allow your kid no guidance and no true discipline up until the age of 10, they're a lost cause. I think it's between the ages of 7 and 11 that a kid develops his personality. And that's pretty much who they're going to be for the rest of their life. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm going based off of memory. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think it's between like 7 through 10 where they gain the bulk of their personality and their traits and who they are. So you got to get your kids early, and then you really won't have those problems when they get into their teenage years. Sometime after like 14 to 15 is when they start to explore the world on their own, and then that's when these crimes can be committed. Sometimes a little earlier, give or take a year or two, but these kids, they said 16, this is about the time where they're either going to turn into menaces and criminals or they're going to do the right thing. Most of the time, they're just going to be average. They're not going to be great, and they're not going to be terrible. They're not going to be criminals and menaces, but they're also not going to be valedictorian and scholars. But they at least, at minimum, won't be out terrorizing the community, breaking into over 100 cars within one night. And I got to give the kids credit. I mean, listen, it's not easy to do. These adults that are complaining would not be able to accomplish what these kids accomplished in such a short time. So give them credit for that. The question about bail, well, he's not a flight risk. I believe that. I mean, he's breaking into cars. He has no resources. So should he get out from a standpoint of him not being a flight risk? Yes. Do I think he's going to go out and commit more crime while he's out before his trial is settled? It's hard to say. It depends on his parents and their involvement with him. They can easily stop him from committing crimes. Now, if the parents don't care or they're implicit, then you can expect this kid to continue to break into cars and have people have to pay $750 out of pocket because they didn't choose to get the comprehensive insurance with their plan, which would probably boost their premium up like an extra $100 over the year or 6-month policy. So you're talking probably another $12 a month, $12 to $20 a month to get comprehensive insurance. And even then, there's levels to it. So you could get comprehensive insurance, but your deductible then comes into play. If you got $1,000 deductible and the mechanic says that it's going to cost you $500 to fix your vehicle, your window or whatever, and maybe locks or something like that, it doesn't make sense to pay the deductible. So it would actually be a lot more if you got a cheap deductible, like a $0 deductible or $100 deductible. Your price every month could go up like $50 a month. So it's tough. Insurance is very scammy to me, and I don't like it. And a lot of reasons is because they don't give back if you actually pay into them. I don't have a problem with insurance. We're going to go on underwriter perspective. We'll go light for this. We're going to go light for this because I don't really think this is that bad just because of the crime and the nature of it. But anyways, to talk about the insurance part of it, I don't really think that insurance is bad, but I do think this. For every 5 to 10 year interval that you pay into insurance on a timely basis and you don't actually have to yank any money out of it, like you're completely good, or even if you do get into an accident, you don't even bring insurance in, you just pay for it on your own. You get a fender bender, you could call on insurance to help you, but you say, oh, I'll just pay the $700 myself. Like, I'm not gonna, have y'all pay or anything like that. Because most of the time you don't want to get insurance involved because they punish you for actually utilizing them. They raise your rates and stuff like that. Like you'll use them and then you'll get punished for it. If you get in an accident, you get punished, but they're there to help you, I guess. So that's a whole nother conversation. But what do y'all think about insurance and how scammy it is? What I was going to say about the solution to insurance is every 5, 10 years, we can even go 10 years. Every 10 years that you don't get into any trouble and you don't have to utilize it, they kick you back at least half of what you put in. I think that would be fair. Let's say you paid $15,000 into your insurance over 10 years. They should just throw you back like $7,500. They just took your money for basically nothing. I mean, I know they probably have operating costs and stuff like that. Maybe not even 50%, but something, 25%, 30%. Work out a number that is good for everybody, but, gives the customer a little bit. Or just, you don't even got to actually even give the customer back any money. You do good with your insurance for 10 years, we'll throw you 3 years on the house. Pay for us for 10 years straight. You don't get in any trouble. You don't need to utilize us. We'll throw you 3 to 5 years on the house. Don't even worry. Your next 3 to 5 years is covered. Then y'all can keep your capital as the insurance company and continue to invest and make more money off of the money you already got, so you don't have to lose any cash that you have within your company. But they won't do it. So I don't like that. I think you should appreciate the people that appreciate you and take care of you, because they're still only giving you a fraction of the profit that they make off of you if you never actually utilize their services, but you pay into them on a continuous basis. So the reason that I went light for this is because these are low-level crimes. And the things that are happening to these people are somewhat self-inflicted wounds. Most of these criminals aren't going to break into your car unless they have a reason to. That's what I was alluding to earlier. A lot of these cars are not even getting broken into from a standpoint of them breaking a window. They just leave their car door open because they're lazy. I've had my car broken into before. And the reason why is because I left my car door open. I got an app on my phone. I'm not going to promote them, but it actually shows the location of my vehicle. So I guess I can't really show much without. I guess I can show this. So, yeah. Like this right here, it actually shows the temperature of my car. Let's see if I can get it to focus a little bit. Shows the temperature of my car. It is in a parking garage and all that stuff. But it shows the temperature of it. It's not gonna focus for me. It shows like the battery voltage. It shows that it's armed. You can see it right here. It shows that it's armed. You can't really see the text, but basically the text says armed, doors closed. It tells me all this stuff. But it also shows the location of my car at all times. And it updates on the minute. So, it's not that much. I'm not going to promote them because I have no referral with them or anything like that. I guess if you really want to know, you can ask in the comments. I'll let you know what I use. But I won't promote it in this video per se. using that is helpful. If thieves steal my vehicle, I'll be able to locate it. Low-level thieves like this would not be able to retrieve the device that is tracking my vehicle very easily, if at all. So I'm not too concerned about that. And I will be alerted by my cell phone if they compromise the vehicle without using the correct key. This kid also had a whole bunch of credit cards in his possession that he got out of vehicles. It's really easy to take with you or not leave in your car. To be honest, you really don't even need physical credit cards anymore. Most of the cards that you can use can be on your phone. You can just tap it on a machine. And if somebody steals your phone, more than likely you should have it protected by passcode and encryption. So if they do take your cell phone, assuming that you're still alive afterwards, you can go to another computer and then wipe your phone remotely and clear everything off of it. So then everything that's in your phone is no longer usable by the criminal. And then at that point, you can make sure that, you don't get all your information taken, but you do got to make sure that you back your phone up. So I do back my phone up fairly enough. I back it up locally, which means not into a cloud. And then there's a couple things are in the cloud, but not much. But yeah, and then they were also saying like the criminals getting their car keys. How do you get the car keys out of somebody's car from their car? I mean, that's just outright lazy. And a lot of these people will have attached garages to their vehicles, and then they will park their car in their attached garage, but leave their garage up. And the foolish thing about it is they will not even lock the door that goes into their house from the attached garage. So if these criminals really want to be brazen, they could break into your home. And most of the time, attached garages are attached either to a mudroom or the kitchen. Usually the mudroom leads into the kitchen. Now, everybody knows that a mudroom is where you're going to leave your purse, your travel bag, your laptop bag, assuming you don't need to do work in the house. So I was just talking to, I'm not going to say who, but I went to drop them off at their place, and their garage was up when they got there, and it was like 9 at night. I was like, why is your garage open? It's like, that's just complete ignorance. And they're like, yeah, they always leave it open. It's like, for real? It's like, yeah. I was like, they at least lock the door to go into the house? No, they don't. They lived in the suburbs, in a cul-de-sac. Everybody thinks that I live in the suburbs. I'm safe out here. Okay. Criminals got cars too, bro. We're seeing a lot of crazy things in the news right now. Everybody knows the climate that we're in right now. This is not a time to lack on security and make foolish and blundering decisions throughout life. I guess my perspective on all this is car owners, don't leave things in your vehicle that you cannot afford to get stolen, you don't want stolen, especially firearms. It's probably the worst. You're out here equipping criminals with deadly weapons. As far as the kid, I don't know. His parents do need to get a hold of him, but, I mean, he's less than 24 months away from being a legal adult, so there's not much they can do. And that's why you really have to get your kid in line by about 10 years old, because those ages from like 11 to 15 are kind of like whatever. When the kid's like 15 to 16, I mean, there's not much you can do at that point. It's just a matter of time. Like, you can't really correct a kid at that age very much. I mean, there's ways to do it, but it's gonna be tough. Like, they're about to be 18 soon. I don't know. You messed up too early, so and you can't really go back. We don't got a time machine. I'm gonna leave it at that, team. I need to get up out of here. I need to get up out of here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the best audience on the internet. I really appreciate y'all, team. I do. I hope that you never end up getting your car broken into and having something stolen out of it that is significant. If they're gonna break your window, at least don't let them steal like something important out of there. You got your whole wallet and life just sitting in the center console with your social security card in there. And now they're running up a bill on T-Mobile.com. I don't know. You've been warned. I guess we all still make mistakes even after we're warned, though. Peace out, y'all.